only was doing Kingsworld because people were telling me to do it, and I wasn't pressured into it, but I just went along with what other people were saying. And when I got there, I hated Kingsworld. I hated it so much. It was early, the kids were so loud, and it was just annoying, to be honest. And I always disliked Kingsworld, but the day that I decided I hate Kingsworld was when I'm standing there minding my own business, and this kid just runs up to me and he starts like screaming a bunch of stuff in my ear, and I was like, just kind of shocked by it, and then he just bites me. And he bit me really hard, like it really hurt. So I kind of decided I hate Kingsworld, like I'm never gonna go back, and obviously that didn't work out. I made a commitment to Kingsworld, and I go to church every Sunday, so it wasn't like I could kind of hide from Kingsworld. It was, I have to be there, like it was just something I had to do. And as I kept going, and as I kept pushing onto these kids, it got a lot better. It was actually a lot of fun, and I learned so much, and my servanthood, like my view of everything just changed, because instead of thinking this is stupid, it's early, I learned these kids have a lot to offer, and I'm learning a lot more than I ever thought I would be, and it changed everything for me. And you know, I started to love Kingsworld. I started to actually put my heart into my service, and I actually started to care about my service. And you know, as time went on, I just went wherever I was needed. And that's how I got moved to 4th grade. And I'm actually going to be moving up to Shine with these guys because they're amazing. They have more potential than I've ever seen in my whole life. And with that whole long rant, it came to a question for me. Why is it important to put others first? Do you know why it's important to put others first? Good. Do you know why? I know that as a teenager, it's so hard to put others first because, you know, you think about it and you think putting others first, like that takes a lot of time, it takes so much out of me, and I'm busy. Like, we're busy high schoolers. Like, I'm in high school, I know that we're busy, and I don't see a reason why, now I don't see a reason why I can't serve, but before I started serving, I was too busy to even think about serving, and that's completely understandable. And to answer the question of why it's important to put others first, if you want to throw that slide up, I've learned that it's important to put others first because service is a chain reaction, and I think you guys know what a chain reaction is. It starts as one and it just gets bigger and bigger, and you know, when that chain reaction starts, sometimes it just starts at home. You know, you grow up and you see people do things and you learn from that. You grow up from what you learn and what you see. And that can be a good or a bad thing. It really depends on the situation, but you know, maybe you're in a situation where your parents serve every single Sunday, or they're always in church, they're doing tons of stuff. So you grow up and you think that's what I'm supposed to do, I'm supposed to serve. And that's a good thing, but it's up to you to make your service a gift. Because, like I said, when I went into 1st grade, I did not make it a gift. I made it kind of a burden for me. I made it very difficult, and as time went on, I chose to make it a gift. I chose to, you know, actually invest in them and actually realize that I can learn so much from these little 6-year-old kids. And a verse that goes along with this so well is in Acts. It's Acts 20:35. It's the last half of the verse. It says, "It is more blessed to give than to receive." Looking at this verse, especially in this day and age, my mind didn't go to giving and receiving service. It went to giving and receiving presents. And, you know, I love getting presents. Obviously, I love Christmas. I love my birthday. But, you know, if you think about it, how many of you wanted like a DS or something when you were younger? Like, it was the big ticket item. Like, I remember I wanted it, and I haven't seen it in 4 years. Like, I had it, and now it's just gone. Because those things are so short-lived and so temporary. And you know, when you think about it, the things on this earth are temporary, but this whole earth is temporary. But some things are just going to stick around a little longer than others. Now, how many of you think like an iPhone is permanent? Raise your hands. Good. How many of you think that a relationship is a little bit less permanent? Here. The reason that a relationship is a little like more permanent on this earth, oh, I said less earlier. The reason that it's a little bit more permanent is because it's another chain reaction. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to say the word chain reaction a lot tonight. Just focus in on that. The reason that relationships are a chain reaction is because the fact that you're investing in someone and the fact that you're showing them, I care enough to be in your life, that matters to that person. That person's going to go out and do the same for others and just going to get bigger and bigger. And unlike the iPhone that just comes out with a new one every single year, that's going to stick around. And an awesome example of this is actually my small group leader here, John Grimaldi. Shout out to John Grimaldi. He has so many gifts. Like I can't put it in numbers the amount of gifts that he has, and it's amazing. I met him when I was 10 years old, and it was kind of just the regular, doesn't matter, it's just a small group. But I kind of realized like he's not my family. He doesn't have to invest in me. Like, he's doing this because he cares, because he's using the gifts that God gave him to help other people. And that meant so much to me. And that's why I wanted to start serving in Kingsville officially. That's why I wanted to really act on things, because the fact that John would take time out of his day and use the gifts that God gave him to help me was something really special. And I'm not saying that he literally just got played and was like, here are all my gifts. Like, it wasn't that. John built a relationship with me, and John spent time with me, and John invested in my life, and he slowly showed me the gifts that he had. And those really inspired me. It's another chain reaction. It started with John, went to me and my son, and now it's had another small group of people. It just gets bigger and bigger. Because of John and because of this verse that I was reading about, I really learned that it's better to give than receive, because the presence in this world is temporary. The service that you give to others is going to change the world. And when I say it's going to change the world, I don't mean it's going to be on the news like, oh, Anthony's small group did this, like it's such a great thing. That's honestly probably not going to happen, but whether you know it or not, it's slowly getting bigger and bigger, and it's going to change the world in such a positive way. It's going to advance God's kingdom so much, and that's really important. And, like I said with John and all his gifts, and me being able to see those gifts and then take some of them and use them in my small group, insecurities come along with it, because once again, we're teenagers, and we're insecure, we're figuring out who we are. But when you think about it, like using your gifts that God gives you, a lot of times we jump to the conclusion of, I don't have any gifts, but I don't have enough to give. And it took a long time for me to figure out my gifts, but it's not something that has to be super hard. You don't have to like speak in tongues, you don't have to do all these crazy things. It can be something as little as just listening more and talking less. When you think about it, we have social media. There's Twitter. I can pick up this phone right now and I can tweet whatever I want in a matter of 3 seconds. So the fact that I'm able to take myself out of a situation and I'm able to move over and invite either God or that person into my space, it means something. It means, like John did with me, it means that you're investing and you're caring, and it means that it's another chain reaction. And it's such a difficult thing to listen more and talk less. I completely understand that, but when you think about it, you're just sitting there and showing them that you care. That's all you have to do. That can be a gift. The things that you do in your life, it's what you make out of them that makes them a gift. Removing ourselves from situations, like I said a couple seconds ago, that's how we also follow in God's footsteps. Because didn't he do that when he came here to earth? And in Romans 5:8 it says, but God demonstrates his own love for us in this. While we were still sinners, Christ died for us. God knew that we were full of sin. He knew that we were full of shame and regret. But he didn't care. He came to this earth and he hung out with the broken and the needy. And he didn't hang posters and say, look at me, I'm God's son. Look at me, I'm all powerful. Instead, he went around and he hung out with the broken and the needy. And he listened. He took the little gift of opening his ears and made it into something incredible. And he made himself nothing to this world. But the fact that he made himself nothing to this world made him very important to us. As if any of you recall, God took the cross and put himself on it. He died for us. So because he made himself nothing to this world, he changed our eternity. And I'm not saying walk in Jesus' footsteps and go get a cross and put yourself on it. Please don't do that, because your parents are probably going to get mad at you. I'm saying we do what he did. We go to people, we listen. We listen to people who aren't ever listened to, who never ever get to talk. We just don't seem to have anyone to care for or care for them. like I said, with God making himself nothing and taking himself out of situations, if you want to throw that slide up for me, when you make yourself nothing to the world, you're really something critical to God. And once again, when I say the phrase nothing, I don't mean hide, don't let anyone know your name, just completely erase yourself. I mean, take yourself out of the situation and let someone and or God come into your place. And, you know, with all this service and everything, there's going to come adversity, because when you think about it, especially like nowadays in 2014, everything that you do has challenges to it. Every single thing that you do. And with my service, when I first started King's World, my ego and my pride really hit me hard within how I viewed and how I actually serve people. I thought, I'm better than these kids, I don't need to teach them, it's not important. And that blocked my view of everything that could have possibly, you know, became out of something from King's World. And it didn't just go that way, it also went the exact opposite, where I was afraid of others' judgment of what they were going to say when they found out I served. Because you can be on both sides of the fence. You can think I'm too good, but at the same time think, but I'm too afraid of what people are going to say. And I was definitely on both sides of the fence, because I don't just serve here at the chapel, I actually serve at a summer camp. And serving at the summer camp was one of the greatest things in my entire life. It has changed me so much. And when I would tell people, oh yeah, I served at this camp over the summer, they would get like a really odd look to their face, and they would ask me, do you guys sit in the room and pray all week? No, we don't. And that question wasn't mean. That question wasn't directed towards me or how I served. But that question still for some reason hurt my feelings, and you know, it once again altered my view of my service. So I'm not saying just because someone's saying something like that to you that they're judging you, but at the same time, we're not perfect, we're human beings. We jump to conclusions and we often think, okay, they're judging me. I do it all the time. Once again, we're trying to figure out who we are, what we want to be, where we want to go. So just a simple comment of, do you sit in the room and pray all week, can really alter your view on everything. And you know, going over everything that we just talked about why it's important to serve and all this stuff, it's so important to serve because it's impacting the kingdom of God in such a positive way. Because like I said, unlike this thing, which is going to be outlived in a year and a half, it's going to stick around. And nothing's going to stick around on this earth permanently, but everything that you do and all the decisions you make are going to affect you in some way, shape, or form. And you know, in Acts, when it said it is more blessed to give than to receive, it's not about gifts. It's about what you make out of things. Whether you want it to be, well, I serve in King's Road because I want to, or whether you just do it because your parents told you to. Or it could be, I do it because I want to change kids' lives and I want people to follow Jesus. And like I talked about the gifts, the little gifts, just listening and following in God's footsteps and listening to the people who are never listened to. Honestly, that is such an easy thing once you start doing it. I thought it was so hard because I love hearing the sound of my voice. Like, you guys have no idea how I'm hearing this. But once you start doing it, once you start working with God on things, it's so easy and it's so great just to see someone's face light up because they know that someone cares for them. You know, also like I said, with serving and the judgment and your ego and your pride, you're not going to do anything in your life that's not going to have some sort of adversity. It's not going to happen. But the thing that really works, once again, is just praying, talking to God, talking to people that you trust, like your small group leader or someone here, and working with them to work past all these things. And, you know, I worked with people, I prayed over and over again that my ego wouldn't affect me and that I wouldn't be afraid of others' judgment. And before I knew it, I didn't care what people had to say. I would answer their questions without fear. You know, I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm better than you, I'm better than this. Now I've humbled myself, and it's honestly, it's made me such a better person. You know, I thank you guys so much for listening. And I really hope that you understood everything that was going on. And just kind of like the bottom line, if you want to put the last slide up there. Like I said, service to others advances the kingdom of God. Whether you know it or not, it's going to be a chain reaction. It's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. and it's going to change the world. If you guys want to bow your heads and pray for me. Dear God, I thank you so much for this opportunity, and I thank you so much for the opportunity to serve in a church whose mission is to serve others. And I pray that you would put in our hearts the places that we need to be more like you and the places that we need to put others first. I thank you for every person in this room, and I pray that we'd all get home safe.